I wanted to get to the last one, man. Kamala Harris. We haven't talked about my girl in a while, but she was just on Stephen Colbert. Um, and very interesting things. Stephen Colbert asked her why she didn't run for governor of California, and her quote was, let me find it. Y'all know I'm a timeline peruser. It was that the system is broken. Hold on, wait. Where's my Kamala quote at? Jonee, you got the Kamala quote? Let me see.
Yeah, hold on one second. I got it.
Oh, here it goes. It says, for now, I don't want to go back in the system. I think it's broken. I always believe that as fragile as our democracy is, our systems would be strong enough to defend our most fundamental principles. And I think right now, they're not as strong as they need to be. Very interesting quote from Kamala Harris. My question is, when has the system ever been that strong? Especially pertaining to black people. In my opinion, I think it's sour grapes. From the election. I think when she lost the election and she left those folks out there in DC cold and in the rain and didn't come out and address um the people who flew across the country or even just drove 10 minutes, to see her, you got to go do that. I didn't like that. And this just plays into that as well. Her reasoning doesn't make no sense. The democracy or the foundation of our government in this country has always been on some fuck shit. It's not like you just learned this. So that was my idea of it. I want to know how y'all felt about that shit. Go ahead, Jonee, and then we got Torraine.
Yeah, I'll go very quick.
Damn, nigga.
I
Oh,
oh
I didn't see your hand.
oh sorry,
You
Jiggy.
got a hand
I'll
up?
be fast. Um, I genuinely do. I dislike perspective of whistleblowing when you did nothing or you weren't whistleblowing, like speaking while you were in it. It gives, now that you're done and now that you've kind of played all of the cards in your hand, now you want to say, oh, I don't want to do this anymore because it's broken. Well, I want to know, number one, what did you contribute to said broken system? What did you know about? What did you acquiesce to? What did you sign off on? What did you turn your head and watch go on in the Biden administration when you were in office, because you were said President of the United States of America for 4 years. You wanted to run again for presidency, and now you don't want to run again for a second time for governor of California. I'm sorry, she was the attorney general, not governor, right?
Yeah.
I forgot. So you want now, and you do not want to run for governor of California because you feel there is a broken system. You always thought it was fragile. You don't believe in the democracy anymore. You thought the systems would be strong, but they're not as strong. Please, like
She sound like
it,
crybaby
it,
ass
it
bitch to
sounds
me.
it, and this is hurtful because I really thought that she had a little bit more foundational belief
No,
in,
tell the truth,
okay,
Jonee. You
this
was
this
going
is
hard
this
for
is the
Kamala way
solution.
back.
I was going hard for Kamala because at the time I felt like what she provided and what she presented, because I did my research, right? I didn't just go off what I was told. I actually went and searched and looked up the things that she said were a part of the agenda she wanted to provide, right? And some of that shit would have worked, right? Um, but it's almost kind of like, who cares? It's a moot point because she didn't win, right? My problem though is to get on a show like Stephen Colbert under this presidency and say, what type of hope do you give for the quote unquote American people that you care about, telling them and reiterating kind of the fear mongering tactics of the Democratic Party? Y'all already know I've gone into, and I've had political, not y'all, but some people know I've done political spaces before. I'm not with the fear mongering. I feel like this broken system, we're desolate. We have no choice. We have no chance. Sometimes things get worse before they get better. I have confidence and faith that eventually things will, work its way out. Who knows how this will happen? Or my thing is, if you thought it was broken from the beginning, what did you think your little ass was going to do? You thought you was going to fix the entire system? Or do you go again? It just don't make no sense to me. It seems like a sore loser type conversation. And it also feels like you wanted to get into the system to get what you wanted out of it versus actually help the people and become a real public official. You get what I'm saying? Because if you really cared about the people, you would put your ass into there to the day you die, no matter what, because you believe in the American people finally getting their just due, as you said during your campaign. So because you can't be president, that means now you can't be nothing. You can't do nothing. You can't find the squeaky wheel and oil it wherever you can. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm a little disappointed in Kamala. Not a little. I am disappointed in Kamala, and yeah, that's just my POV.
Yeah, I don't think that I hope this hasn't turned into a sympathy tour. And you can say a lot of things about Bernie Sanders. That nigga didn't quit. Old ass Bernie, he done lost so many
Bernie's still
times,
talking that same talk, and
but
that's
he
what
didn't quit.
and he's been but the thing is, Bernie has been speaking the same rhetoric, even if it is maybe negatively leaning. He's been saying it since he ran. He's been saying it every year since. He always speaks up during the elections. He is still actively like, this is what I believe is going to assist with our, this where we are. She also has gone on record, Rashad, and been very clear. Oh no, we're going to be in a what did she say? We're going to hit what is it? Not a recession. Yeah, a recession. We're gonna hit recession by in 6 months. It's just like, now that you've lost, now you want to do the fear mongering. I don't. I'm not enjoying Kamala right now. It's making me a little upset. And Stephen Colbert, out of all people, like, girl, please, where is the black? If never mind.
See, I think
Go
y'all
ahead,
need no.
Torraine. Hold on, Jig. Hold on. We gonna get to you, Jig. You right after Torraine, then we got Timothy in Paris.
Brother, when you put this topic up, man, I started rubbing my hands like bird, man. Um, aside from my spaces job, this is actually what I do, and y'all know I live for this political stuff. So to get into this conversation, man, the system isn't broken in the way she means. What she means is she wasn't able to get what she thought she was going to get out of the system, and so it's broken for her. She thought she was going to ride into the White House on Black Girl Magic and collard greens and Chucks and Pearls and Howard University and all that stuff. And what she didn't realize, or what her team didn't realize, and I know this for a fact because I've talked with some of these people, they didn't realize that the United States of America is heading toward a serious economic downturn. It was heading towards a downturn 18 months ago. It was heading towards a downturn in November. Instead of talking about economics and instead of really connecting with the American public, she thought that she was going to market herself like a performer and market herself like some sort of entertainer when the people wanted real hard, definite facts. Now you can say that Trump does the exact same thing, but what Trump did and what Trump's campaign and the Republicans did that they did better than her was they connected with their voter base on a very visceral level. And the way they connected with their voter base was basically saying that, look, we don't want DEI. We don't want any sort of race quotas in place. And if you elect me, I'm going to give that to you. And they're fucking with me and that's why they're giving me all these charges. It was basically the YSL technique, extrapolated for rich white Republicans, and they made it work. What she's talking about is the fact that she did not get what she wanted. And also, what this is talking about as well is, it's not going to be said, but what's really happening is that a lot of that rhetoric and a lot of the strategies that the establishment Democrats were doing over the past 2 years about, like, just vote like a black woman, vote for skin color, did not work. And they're pulling a lot of their money from those initiatives. If you go back and look at some of the things that the establishment Democrats have done since Trump won, a lot of the stuff that they was 100% behind up until November the 6th, like a lot of LGBTQ stuff, a lot of trans stuff, a lot of stuff when it comes to minorities and black people specifically, and a lot of immigration. If you listen to what they're saying, they're either slowly getting very quiet about that, or they're pulling back from it altogether, and they're almost doing sort of Republican light where they're not doing it, especially in California. Kamala and her people know that she would not win in California, and a lot of the stuff she's saying is really just cope for the fact that there's no more voter confidence in the Democratic Party, the establishment Democrats, and there's also no direction in the Democratic Party, and they don't know where to go. And they don't want to listen to the public, and they don't want to listen to the reformers in the Democratic Party. There's a lot of young Democrats who are waiting, who could possibly reform the Democratic Party, but because you got Pelosi and you got other people who are damn near 80 or 90 years old who will not move, they're not going to sit there, and they're going to get frustrated, which is why you're starting to see people starting to move towards independent. I think what's going to happen with her personally, she's either going to go back into private practice, she's either going to do the book speaking tour where she can make a lot more money, or she's going to try to insinuate herself in the independent movement and starting to gain steam in America. Because you see a lot of people starting to do that. Eric Adams is doing it. Karine Jean-Pierre, who was the mouthpiece for Biden, is starting to go do this independent thing. And I'm just saying all that to say that, man, look, these people are opportunists. They're politicians. And the first thing a politician is going to be is going to look out for themselves and look out for what they can get for themselves. She's setting it up to the point where she can make herself look out to be a victim and make herself look out to be the fact that the system does not work for her and try to extrapolate that to everybody else. But it's just the fact that she shot her shot, it didn't take. So now she's got to try to hustle something else. And you're going to see a whole lot more of this. Look for this to happen more and more. That's why you're seeing people like Michelle Obama and all these people doing podcasts now, doing stuff they wouldn't have been within a million yards of if the Democrats would have won. And like the sister said before, if the system is so broken, how come we didn't address the broken system before you started running and everything? Why is it broken now? Because it didn't work for you. Why are you all of a sudden popping up out of nowhere and making all these quote unquote radical sort of revolutionary statements that you're buying, that you're copying from people who are far left radicals, when you basically spill on the far left radicals when your own people told you need to start catering to them and they wouldn't do it. So this is just cap, man. It's all cap. It didn't work for her. So now she's trying to pull the whole thing down and make herself look good.
Go ahead, Jig, Himothy, Paris, and Rick.
Listen, dog. This one of them, I mean, I ain't never wrong. I was just early situations, right? Cause I done said this shit about Kamala so long fucking ago. And I think the problem is people choose to overlook this shit the same way y'all overlook them red flags in y'all dating life to try to act like y'all be surprised at somebody's character when they show you exactly who the fuck they are, right? That lady has never been who she pretended to be that whole campaign run. She was just putting on a face to try to appeal to the people what she thought. And the problem with that is y'all need to be more disrespected by the shit that people make caricatures of to appeal to you, right? It's like, if you think acting like that is supposed to make me think you respect me as a black person, that's more of an insult than the actual shit that you stand on, right? Because they look at y'all as y'all real fucking gullible, y'all real coonish, and y'all fall for the entertainment aspect of shit when it comes to politics. It's very fucking disrespectful. I'm gonna be real with you. There needs to be a whole complete reform of the Democratic Party, because for people like me and my peers that are, right, like for some of y'all that do know me, y'all do know one of my best friends, literal godfather to his kids, is in the state house working in the Senate, right? So I have people that are working and doing this shit every day. I've helped him write bills and do other shit with him. It's crazy to me what y'all will let pass by somebody that wants to pander to you for these votes and realize that they're not going to do anything to actually change your life. And then these moments come later on when things don't work out and everybody is surprised at the narratives that they're sharing. For years now, the problem has become, right? People look on the other side and say, hey, this is what the Republicans are doing. The bullshit that they're on, you know what? They're talking about hate. If they go low, we need to go low too. We need to match the energy. And that's where you lose your message. That's where you lose your dignity, because you're not doing shit anymore for the welfare of the people that you're supposed to be representing, but you're doing it to try to be spiteful. You're doing it to try to prove a point. You're doing it to go against the grain. That shit sucks. I think everybody, especially if you are a black person, you need to get more involved in your local politics. Rashad, I'm gonna go on, bro. I ain't cutting off real quick. I let y'all have the last two topics. I think y'all need to get more involved in your local politics.
GY, we got other hands,
I think,
Jig.
and I'll
We
be,
know
and
we're gonna come back
I'm
to
gonna
you.
wrap
We
up,
here for
but
a while.
y'all need to get more involved in your local politics. Y'all need to understand the idea of voting for the lesser evil is some bullshit that's been preached to y'all by these parties for the last fucking 3 elections, and it's not real. There is no such thing as lesser evil. Evil is evil. If somebody's preaching bullshit to you and they're comparing it to the comparison, y'all didn't learn with Hillary when y'all went with that bullshit when we could have had better candidates to go against that election. Instead, y'all fell for the lesser evil bullshit, knowing damn well the Clintons have a whole history of evil, whether it was lesser or not. That's not some shit you should have never got behind. Y'all need to respect yourself more. Y'all need to vote for things that actually align and represent what you stand for, and stop voting for shit because, oh, well, if this could be way worse, so I'll accept the bad. No. Represent the good. You don't need a fucking 70-year-old person representing you either. You need to be 35 to fucking be a president. We should stop voting
Hold
for
on,
people
wait, Jig.
35 to 55. That's it. That's
Let
it.
Himothy
Simple as
get in
that.
there. You said something that I wanted to respond to. Oh yeah, I know what it is. I'm gonna go, Himothy, Paris, and then Rick. I want to
It was me first because I ain't got but 2 sentences, and I'm gonna wrap this up because y'all got some C Y's
GYs,
in here.
generational.
G-Wise, get
Let
it
me
right.
say,
Hello?
Goddamn.
Go ahead, Paris.
Here, not CY.
um, no, for real, everybody got their certificate in this motherfucker today. All I was gonna say is, this is one of the reasons why I didn't fall for the propaganda, and that's why it just reinforces my ideology that women are so naive and very much so gullible.
because nothing that she was even planning on running for would make a broader impact in women specifically, that it would have been able to be passed in such a short period of time. What she was going to do was just prolong what her ideas were, which is what you see most Democrats do, and pretend that, you know, she had your best interest at heart and make all of these excuses as why everything was under delay, because she's good at talking. Even when you listen to her talk, she gave you a plan, but when it was time for her to discuss her plan, she could never actually formulate where the actual action was going to come from. So I never took to Kamala. I was never a adamant fan of neither one of the candidates. I've said this repetitiously, and I think that people need to stop trying to use identifiers in order to attach themselves to a voting candidate, because those identifiers are not going to matter. This woman doesn't have your best interest at heart. She never was able to identify with nothing you were experiencing, and you could tell by her interviews.
Go ahead, Timothy, then Rick.
Two sentences on a little
Go ahead.
long here.
Go ahead, Timothy.
Yeah, man. Similar to what's been shared, man. I feel like when somebody shows you who they are, you got to believe it. And one thing my grandparents always told me is look at a person when they're losing, or look at a person when shit ain't going their way. That's going to show you what their character is. And for me, I spent probably 8 or 9 years living in California. I was out there uh, while Kamala was the attorney general. She wasn't going to win the fucking whatever position she was about to go for. That's why she did this. You're not going to run into another losing race, because if she loses again, no matter what she runs for, especially if it isn't president of the United States, she's in a position to where, oh, you just lost twice. Maybe you don't have that firepower anymore. But I don't think she had the firepower to begin with. It's like what Paris just said. She was running on shit that she didn't believe in. She was running on shit that she could not speak to. She was running on shit to gaslight black women into voting for her. She succeeded there. That was her biggest win, which sucks, because as I spoke to the black women I cared about in my life, my mom, my sisters, my aunts, I kept telling them, do not attach, what Paris just said, do not attach yourself to a loser. And I don't mean that because she's a black woman. I mean that because in politics, she doesn't have a track record of winning. So this is a loser mentality. This is, oh, y'all just beat me 10-0 on the basketball court. I'm taking my ball. I'm going home. And luckily for us, we didn't have to deal with this shit for, 4 years, because shit is bad now, and it's going to get entirely worse. And it's not necessarily because of the presidential candidate. It's because of shit that was done when we were kids. It's because of outsourcing manufacturing. It's because of other shit that was done. It isn't the shit that just happened in the last year. So for all of the people that are on this chat right now that are big, oh, Trump, oh, it's raining today, it's Trump's fault. I'm not a Trumper, but I'm also smart enough to pay attention to politics before it becomes important to me. We try to grapple with shit like the moment it becomes important to us or it affects us, versus getting the education ahead of time. What just happened that a lot of people on this chat, and a lot of people just period won't even acknowledge or get this past election cycle. A lot of people got in on the state level, representatives, governors, all of that should not be in there, and that are against our best interests as black people and just the collective best interests. So they were so engaged and overly enraged with Trump, you forgot to vote or educate yourself on the local level, and that's where the changes that you're actually feeling are going to be affected. And so I tell people, man, educate yourself now so that the same shit doesn't continue to happen, because we're still in a position to where we can take control of this thing. It's going to take all of us getting on the same page, which is the most difficult task of any generation before. But I'm happy that she's going to sit down. She's less harming to us writing books than she is in office, because she's just not a smart person. She doesn't
Hold
have a
on.
smart team behind her, and that, like, I wouldn't trust her to run a Walmart in my side of the city. So
Go
God
ahead,
bless.
Rick.
Ain't y'all glad this ain't the person that's got to negotiate terms for the country with Putin?
This nigga is crazy.
Ain't y'all glad?
Here we
Ain't
go.
y'all glad this person? Hey, man, I hate to be out. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't have much to say. I mean, as Paris said, the GYs done their deal. I'm just saying, from a reactionary standpoint, leadership is what you do for people regardless of what they're trying to
What you get out of it?
impose on you. You know what I mean? And I don't think that she's ever done anything that spoke to her being such a great candidate in leadership. The person she was going against hadn't either prior to their time frame, but people forget that he was the prior president. And he was the president. Then there was somebody in between, which she was a part of that person's party, and they didn't do shit. And they didn't. So it was an easy campaign for him. And now she's in a position where, going up that ladder, I think she's already attached herself to just all the wrong people in terms of policies and things like that, because the majority of stuff that they was pushing, like the electric car reform and shit like that, bro, we don't got actual infrastructure for that. You know what we would need in order for everybody to have an electric car? You know what type of grid we would need when Texas can't even survive a good winter? You would have to build just a whole, man, the amount of money and pollution that would be involved with those type of things is just astronomical. So like I said, she never had a solid plan of any sort that was based on anything. I just think that she's doing her last hoorah. This is definitely bitter bitch syndrome, but hey, what can you expect? Everybody doesn't bow out gracefully. Some people bow out the worst way they know how.
I wanted to address one thing before we get to Jonee and Torraine. One thing that Jig said about the ideology of not going low, right? Or playing in the mud with the Republicans. In my opinion, I thought Democrats was too fucking nice. I think that at some point you got to have some backbone, because you could see the difference between the Democrats coming up there and they trying to knock niggas in the head with stats and figures and charts and graphs, and then Republicans just coming out there and, hey man, look, this was gonna happen, and they dumb as fuck over there too. And I think that resonated more with just people in general, no matter what side of the aisle you were on, because one, or if you on the Democratic side, you still tuning in to see what the fuck that they saying, and then if you're on the Republican side, this shit sound good because our lives might not be where they want to be, and we had some dumb motherfuckers in office, so it's probably their fault. I think Democrats were just too goddamn
No,
But
we
nice.
know
Rashad,
all of them are
you
smart.
kind of agreeing
No,
to
we
my
know
point.
all of them. Hold on, Jiggy,
He talking about
hold
my
on. We
point.
know all of. I know that's fine, but I'm saying we know all of them are smart. The issue is they were doing what Trump used to do the first
Yep.
time, which is just say what the fuck it is. Be clear about it. You don't need to give me a lot of literal political jargon and legal terms and stats and studies. No, just say what the fuck it is. That's going to reach people faster than trying to sit there and decipher what the hell going on with CNN in a damn dictionary.
And I think
Can
where
I?
you
But
got
what
confused with what I
Jiggy?
said, Rashad, is I'm not saying that you can't be tough, right? That's not what I said. I said you can't pretend to be somebody else. That was the problem. They were pretending to act like the Republican Party because they said if that worked for them, then maybe it will work for us. And the problem with that is you lose your own sense of identity when you do that. You should be tough about the things you actually care about. Don't try to be tough and pretend you be the tough guy about some shit that you actually don't believe. Because then
Don't
people
tell
are
us
going
you
to
cook
listen to you
collard
and
greens
say,
in the tub.
you're not being sincere. You're just
Okay,
saying it because
okay.
you saw it work for the last motherfucker. So it's like if we all walk in a room and I punk a nigga and niggas know I get busy like that and I give them hands and you go and you do it just because you saw me do it, niggas ain't gonna
Yeah,
believe
they're
you
not
as
gonna
much
respect
because they
you.
may look at it and say, hey, we ain't never seen you be like that. So why all of a sudden you walking in trying to act like you get hard like that? We know that's not you. And that's the problem
Okay,
is they tried to mimic some shit when in reality,
Jiggy, cut it
they
out.
We
should
Cut
got
have
it
we
been
got you.
tough
We
on the
got you.
things that they need to care
Cut
about, like
it out,
healthcare and
nigga.
education,
Okay, hold on,
shit
hold on,
like
hold on.
that you actually do represent. Go stand for that.
To
You
Jonee,
gotta learn when to
go
say
ahead, Jonee. But
when.
I did want to ask:
I just want to
is
say something
Kamala
real
doing
quick.
this? Because I wanted you to answer this as well, Jonee. Is Kamala
Okay.
doing this because she has no more political capital, or is this like uh sincere that she doesn't want to be in the government? Like, is
Yeah.
this forced or is this sincere?
I think it's three things. I think it is agenda. I think it's propaganda. And I also think yes to the answer. It's like I think there is her specific agenda, which is going to be maybe book selling or what her latter year experience is going to be. There's propaganda, which is okay, we want to make sure that we continue to do what we believe is the most beneficial thing as the Democratic Party.